After the Civil War, African Americans did gain their freedom, but they were still treated as if they were not equal. In many southern states, barriers were put into place to prevent African Americans from voting. In order for some of these barriers to be knocked down, it took changing the Constitution. Amendments had to be added to the Constitution itself to prevent such barriers. These included the 15th Amendment, which allowed African American men the right to vote, and the 24th Amendment, that outlawed the poll tax. Even despite these amendments, southern states still tried to get around the amendments by issuing more and more restrictions aimed at preventing African Americans from voting. Finally, in 1965, the Voting Rights Act was passed to prevent all future restrictions on voting. While this is not an amendment, it does protect voting rights for all Americans. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 continues to be amended and now offers even more protection of voting rights. In this illustration, the calendar represents 1965, and there's a literacy test with a line passed through it. This literacy test represents yet another barrier that African Americans and poor people had to face in order to vote, and the voting box symbolizes the importance of voting, as well as the relationship between voting and the Voting Rights Act of 1965.